welcome back to Top 5. We have another episode of Juice on the Roof today. I'm Jasmine, as you all know, but today we are here with a good friend of mine, former teammate, still friend though, Olamide. Introduce yourself to the people.
Hi guys, my name is Olamide. I used to be on the track team and now I'm a senior.
You are a senior. She's a businesswoman, thriving entrepreneur. So today we are going to talk to her a lot about her experience here at UCLA and how she kind of transformed it into being something very positive. So Olamide used to run track. She's from Texas. So why don't we start off by just talking about the athlete that you were in high school and what you thought you were going to be in college, what you expected of everything.
So I got recruited to UCLA on full scholarship to run out here. I'm originally from El Paso, Texas, which is a really small town all the way west in Texas. There was no one really that came out of that city that did anything except for one girl who went to UT Austin, but no one who had really gone out of the state. And so I'd run track for a long time, kind of like on and off when I was younger, but got to high school and people thought I was really fast, so I started training, staying really focused, and I ended up winning the state championship for Texas, 5A, so the largest division, my senior year in 2014. I had offers from a lot of different schools, Baylor, UCLA, just a bunch of schools. And I decided UCLA because I'm really big on academics. I was in the IB program in high school.
Yes, IB!
Graduated with my diploma, well, 2 diplomas, my high school diploma and my IB diploma. And so I chose UCLA because I thought it was the best of both worlds. And yeah, I came to UCLA. It was great. It was really awesome. The beginning was really, it was a really new experience for me coming from El Paso, Texas. But I loved LA. I love the fast life. I love the city. I love people going places, trying to do things. So yeah.
Okay, so you got to UCLA. All of us kind of when we get here, we're like, yes, we're gonna be national champions. We're gonna take on the world. UCLA track, it's unstoppable. And I feel like that's consistent, wherever you go. But moral of the story is no matter where you go to school, no matter what you think you're gonna do, things are going to happen to you. Things happen to all of us. It doesn't really matter if you're a student athlete, if you're just a student, life kind of hits hard. So Olamide, why don't we talk a little bit about kind of your experience. Spoiler alert, Olamide actually had to medically retire, unfortunately. So let's talk a little bit about that experience and kind of what that did for you and how you transitioned from that loss of identity and loss of self into becoming successful.
So came to UCLA and was really super excited. I felt like it was gonna be my first time to have a coach that understood the type of athlete I was and helped me get to the next level. So to kind of give some context, at the time when I got recruited here, I was number 10 in the country. With all the different people that were running, and then within just my class I was number 3. So I was really on fire to come here and win a national championship. That's what you come to college to do when you're an athlete. Unfortunately, I dealt a lot with anxiety and some bone issues, some hormone issues, and just not really taking care of my body, and then also having a lot of stress. So I suffered some ulcers during my first year, and I ended up having to redshirt that freshman year. So it was really tough. It was a really big roller coaster ride, and I went through depression for that first quarter of school. Through summer, I was really hard on myself because I had always been the girl who just did it, who made it happen, who her life seemed perfect to other people because, she had everything going for herself. She was the class president, she was the homecoming or prom queen. She was, all these different things. But I think some of the battles you face internally, other people don't see that. And so I dealt really, really bad with some depression. Wanted to maybe change schools, look at somewhere different. But luckily I had a really good support system around me at the time who was no, you came to UCLA for a reason, and that may not be the reason. My mom always says that track got you there, but it may not be the thing that keeps you there. There may be something else that you find there. And staying at UCLA, and even after the scholarship and going through all the ups and downs and having to medically retire, has honestly been the best decision I ever made. Coming to UCLA, despite all the adversities, has been the best decision of my life.
So going off of that, UCLA, I would say the same thing, kind of from my experience here, that regardless of everything that happens, it's such a great place to be and you're surrounded by such great people. So let's talk a little bit about what you do outside of track, because now you don't run
Yeah,
but what you do, but what you do kind of outside this world of sports. So Olamide actually has a blog, website-ish thing. I don't know what you would define it as. But it's called Serve Your Truth, and why don't you explain a little bit to them what that is?
So we could just do like a backtrack. So my sophomore year, so in the year that I was going through depression, I had become really good friends with a girl named Rochelle Dennis. And during sophomore year, she was like, let's start a skincare brand. And I was like, you're crazy. Like at the time I was a pre-med student studying neuroscience. I was crazy and thought I would.
Olamide has changed majors more than anyone I know in my life.
But keep changing, y'all. Find out what's your purpose. Find out what you like. Like don't get stuck because someone told you gotta pick in the first year or the second year. I didn't pick till my third year. And I still added a minor last quarter. So yeah. But I was studying neuroscience and I thought I wanted to be a brain surgeon. And Rochelle realized, she would always see me studying because we lived together, and she would be like, you don't look like you're enjoying yourself, but you're so smart. Like, why are you doing this? And I was like, why am I doing this? So we started a skincare brand called Shea Girl in partnership with Shea Moisture, because Rochelle's father owned some of the skincare brands, Sundial brands, Shea Moisture, Nubian Heritage, and all those brands. And so we decided we were going to take the resources that we had and we were going to build a company that was focused on empowering young women of color, especially within the beauty realm, because we often don't have options and products there. So we did that for 2 years, and it was so hard, like balancing sports at the time, because I didn't medically retire until late last year. So we were juggling meetings with buyers like Target, Walmart, and Ulta. We were juggling investor meetings. We were juggling product testing, all while, you know, she's on the gymnastics team here at UCLA, and I was on the track team. We were trying to coordinate schedules, and so it was really hard. But we learned a lot about how to serve a community and how business isn't just about profits and how much revenue you can make, but it's about how much impact you can make in your community and how you can help other people find their purpose. So fast forward to November of 2017, the company got acquired. So we basically got, we were able to kind of like switch up and start a whole new thing. So we took the resources and learnings that we got from our first business and launched a second business over this past Christmas break. And so it's kind of a two-part business. So Serve Co. is the parent company of our two brands. So the first brand we launched right now is Serve Your Truth. And Serve Your Truth is a blog, website, online, offline experience that kind of just delves into beauty from the perspectives of people of color, and the way they interact with beauty, the way they feel about beauty, how the beauty industry treats them. And we actually got the green light recently to launch an event. We're doing an event. We haven't tied down the date, so if y'all really want to know about the event, hit me up.
And follow them on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram at Serve Your Truth. But we just interview people of color, asking them like how they've experienced beauty. And so that's the first brand. And the second brand is called Serve Beauty. And it's a beauty company that was born out of the need for non-toxic, effective beauty products for people of color. We often don't have any options, like I said earlier. So we're just trying to save, Rochelle always says, we're just trying to save the world however we can. And so yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
Okay, so since you are such a big inspiration to me, and I know to Christina as well, and lots of other people on our team, we wanted to ask you what your top 5 pieces of advice were for other student athletes kind of dealing with this kind of world and trying to enter into fields that are different than what they know.
So if anyone knows me, they know I ramble on, so I probably won't be organized in like a 5, but I'll drop some gems that I can think of. I think that the number one thing is to find your purpose and walk in your purpose. And that sounds like super like mystical and whatever, but I think it's about finding out what you're good at and how you can help other people do that. And I promise you, if you find those things and help other people, you'll be whatever you want to be. Like whatever it is that you want to be, popular, rich, whatever, you'll be that if you can find what you're good at and use that to help other people. I think the second thing also is like to pace yourself. I am really big on overworking myself and overloading myself, and someone told me the other day, you can't pour out of an empty cup. So it's like self-care to me is a really big deal. You gotta take a break sometimes. Sometimes it's like you can't go out that night. Like you can't go with people to go do something. Like sometimes it's about like just being quiet and with yourself. Every morning I try to do like meditation. I'm a Christian, so I believe in like
talking to God about, what are we doing today, God? What's going on? Like, so I can just keep centered and know that like someone else is watching out for me. I also think that right now culture and technology are going to be like the driving forces of the future, and I think that people need to understand the culture, whatever culture that you sit in, that you need to be able to take that culture and merge it with technology and create something that's not there. I think so many people are like, oh, I'm scared to fail, I'm scared to this and that. I was telling my sister yesterday, because she's starting a business, she was like, I'm scared to fail. I said, 80% of people don't start business because they're afraid to fail. So the rest 20%, there's another 80% that are gonna fail out of that 20%, but it's like, if you fail, just start another one.
There's always something else.
There's always tomorrow. You literally can shut that down and start a new business. Like, what if you start that business and that business goes on to save someone's life, or that business goes on to like inspire someone else to do something, and now it's like a chain reaction that you never thought could happen just because you had an idea about something. I also think it takes a tribe and a village. Find people who are like you or like think like you.
Like-minded.
Yeah, and not in the same sense as like they all like the same things, but people that are going somewhere. A lot of people are too busy worrying about who went to that party and what shoes she wore and what car she drives and this, that, and the other. Let me tell you right now, it does not matter. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. If you want to walk in the room and be in rooms with people who have influence, you have to like hold yourself like someone who has influence. Also, I'm always a resource. So like if anyone wants to start anything or run a business, I don't really know much, but I know something. So,
I know somebody that knows somebody
I do know somebody who knows somebody who knows something, so I can connect y'all. Also, I started a club called AIM, Athletes in Management, and this first year has been a building year, trying to like lay the groundwork, but we're working on programs to make sure student athletes get into the top businesses, top companies that you want to work at. So also hit my line if you are trying to go somewhere. Like let's
we're all trying to go somewhere together. There's enough room for all of us.
There's enough room. Yeah, stop with all that. There's enough room. There's enough room.
Retweet her post.
Right. We lead culture.
Shout her out. There's enough room for all of us. But yeah. All right, guys, thank you for joining us this week on Top 5 on Juice on the Roof. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow Olamide, follow Serve Your Truth, and we'll be back with you next week. Cheers. You didn't drink any of your juice.